was a dark and stormy night. Hi everyone, my name's Katrina and today I'm going to be sharing some book recommendations based on your Halloween costume. So I've put together a list of pretty generic, broad ideas for Halloween costumes. I didn't want to get too specific, otherwise this video would go on forever and ever and ever. So I've kept to some kind of general ones, but I also squeezed in a few specific costumes based on some of the things that you guys told me you would be dressing up for Halloween this year. So I chose a couple of the things that you guys mentioned. Without further ado, here are the recommendations. If you're dressing up as a superhero this year, I would recommend Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is all about superheroes, supervillains, supernatural powers, secret identities, vengeance, and justice. In Renegades, we follow two different characters. We have Adrian, who is a renegade, and they are these superheroes who basically run the town. And then Nova, who is an anarchist, one of their enemies. In their hero-villain personas, the two of them are arch enemies, but as civilians, the two of them meet and their lives become intertwined. If you're dressing up as a villain, I would recommend Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is all about anti-heroes and villains. We essentially follow Eli and Victor, who, when they were in college, they were best friends and roommates. They started doing some research on EOs, or extraordinaries, and these are humans with supernatural powers. They managed to figure out how to become an extraordinary, and things go catastrophically wrong. Fast forward 10 years, Victor has broken out of prison, and he is looking to hunt down Eli. The two of them are mortal enemies, and in terms of their powers, they don't really use them all for good. If you're dressing up as the Grim Reaper, I would recommend Sabriel by Garth Nix. Sabriel is the daughter of the Aborson, who is essentially a necromancer. They wield 7 bells and each of them has a different purpose, but it's all got to do with the dead. For example, summoning, controlling, or banishing the dead, things like that. So the Aborson has gone missing and it is up to Sabriel to go and find her father. If you're dressing up as a mermaid, I would recommend It Came from the Deep by Maria Lewis. In this, we follow Iron Woman Kaya Craig, who is involved in a pretty horrific accident and someone wants to hold her accountable. She is almost drowned in a lake, but she manages to survive with the help of a very mysterious creature within the lake's depths. It's a merman. If you're dressing up as a ghost, I would recommend City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This is a middle grade novel where we follow Cassidy, whose parents are ghost hunters. But the thing is, Cass is actually able to see ghosts, and in fact her best friend Jacob is a ghost. Her parents are working on a new TV show which takes them to Edinburgh, Scotland, and of course Cass and Jacob go along with them. Whilst there, Cassidy stumbles upon a rather malevolent ghost called the Red Raven. And things don't quite go according to plan. If you're dressing up as a Disney character, I would recommend The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. The second book is Scarlet, the third book is Cress, and the fourth book is Winter. This is a sci-fi series with a whole bunch of fairy tale retellings. In book 1, the main character Cinta is based on Cinderella, Scarlet is based on Little Red Riding Hood, Cress is based on Rapunzel, and Winter is based on Snow White. It's a fun and seriously action-packed series, and I would highly recommend it. If you're dressing up as a sexy animal, I would recommend Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and illustrated by Fiona Staples. This is a science fiction graphic novel series. It is quite graphic. There is a lot of explicit nudity and sex scenes and things like that. This is a space opera family saga, if you will. These three are the main characters of the series. We have the two parents who are from opposing sides of a war. They're from different species that should not be canoodling and getting it on. They have a mixed species child and they are essentially on the run. And throughout it we meet a whole bunch of different types of alien species. Some of them look like different animals. We've got this thing here, this lady who's like a spider. There's like talking animals like cats and little seals and stuff like that. I don't know, I just thought it was a really interesting mix. So many different types of species in here. So you never know, you may actually come across something that you're slightly dressing up as. If you're dressing up as Alice in Wonderland, I would recommend Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan Maguire. This is a portal fantasy, just like Alice in Wonderland, where a character steps through some kind of doorway and finds himself in a fantastical world. However, the characters in Every Heart a Doorway have been dragged back out of those fantastical worlds into the plain old world that we know and love. However, they're struggling to come to terms with the fact that they've been brought back out of the world where they felt like they belong. So we have Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, where all of these children kind of congregate and either kind of learn to live with the fact that they may not return, or they're actively trying to find their way back. If you're dressing up as a character from the show Rick and Morty, I would recommend The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Probably no surprise with this comparison here. It's a weird and wacky sci-fi novel about Arthur Dent and Ford Prefect who are traveling through space, meeting some strange robots and aliens along the way. For my last recommendation, I've got the Not costume, or the themed clothing. So by this I mean you're not wearing some full-out cosplay type garb, but instead you might be wearing normal kind of clothing with maybe one or two pieces that have a Halloween pattern on them, or it's relating to or has a quote about a particular movie, show, or character, if that makes sense. So maybe you've got some Hufflepuff leggings and you wear that with a normal shirt and jacket, etc, etc. So for this one I wanted to recommend something that wasn't set in a wholly fantastical world. It was in a contemporary setting but did have some fantastical elements, and for this I thought I would recommend The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. In this book we meet Blue Sargent, who lives with her mother in a household of clairvoyance. However, Blue doesn't have any abilities to see the dead. For as long as she can remember, however, Blue has been told that when she kisses her true love, he will die. And then enter the Raven Boys, who are on a bit of a quest to find a long-lost king, and their lives become intertwined with Blue's. So those are just a few book recommendations based on different Halloween costumes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is something you'd like to see more of, definitely let me know and send any Halloween costume recommendations or suggestions in the description below. But that is all that I have for now, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in a new video, but until then, I will talk to you in the comments. Bye!